temperatura actual 24 grados centígrados. Al mismo tiempo informarles que estamos con llovizna, tormenta eléctrica y vientos del suroeste con una intensidad de hasta 12 knots. Por favor, permanezcan con los cinturones de seguridad abrochados durante esta última fase del vuelo. A nombre de Amazonas y la tripulación, agradecemos el placer de tenerlos a bordo.
It took me more than 1.5 years to get ready for this coming ayahuasca experience. It was difficult for me not to have expectations about what I will go through. Maybe because in 2016 I already traveled to the Amazonas of Ecuador when I traveled with a group of 4 to the Siona indigenous. We were filming an ayahuasca documentary about the holy medicine and how the shamans of this tribe are working with it. Of course, I told different friends about this upcoming ayahuasca experience I will go through, and 9 of them decided to join me. We landed in Riberalta, Bolivia. The climate was hot and humid. I was very much looking forward to meet the owner of the center, Eric Taylor. He's the owner of the Pisatawa Ayahuasca Center. After a warm and friendly welcome of Eric, he's taking us in his cars to his ayahuasca retreat center. Pisatawa is in the middle of nowhere. We had to drive 45 minutes through the jungle. And on this trip I remembered how I heard first time about Eric. It was a very good friend of mine in Santa Cruz de la Sierra in Bolivia who told me about a spiritual ayahuasca retreat he did, and he was amazed about it. He told us about this place, he gave us the name, and Googling I found out about Eric and his place. I contacted him and decided to do this retreat in his place. After 45 minutes, finally we reached Pisatawa. It took us more than expected, and Eric and me drove in front of the others who stayed in Riberalta to organize a couple of things. The group arrived. We brought our suitcases and luggages to the Maluka or the ceremony house and received a warm and friendly welcome from Eric's staff. Eric starts with a short introduction about his retreat center, and then he's bringing us through the jungle to the bungalows, where we are going to stay during the retreat. The bungalows are made out of wood, are very comfortable and cozy. Mine has an amazing view to the lagoon, which is just next to the retreat center. The first day we did an adventurous trip through the Amazonas. We started with an early walk, leaving the area of our retreat center. For most of us, it was the first time ever visiting the Amazonas. Of course, a few of us were worried about dangerous animals, but our guide Chaka told us that there is no reason to be afraid. The most dangerous animal in that sense most probably are the mosquitoes, he meant, because there are thousands and thousands of them. The Pisataua Center belongs to the Akiquana Reserve, which is national park and protected. More than 300 kind of birds are living in this area, so we were told by Chaka. Experts are coming from all around the world to this area of the jungle to write books or do documentaries about the beauty of the nature.
Durante todo el año vienen biólogos, vienen ambientalistas, vienen médicos, vienen diferentes especialidades, vienen a apoyar tanto en el área protegida como también en los centros de Riberal.
For me it was amazing to be back in the Amazonas. Memories from many different trips to this area came back to my mind and my heart.
Hemos identificado cerca de 350 especies de aves solamente en este país. Una de ellas endémica que solo vive aquí en el área de Riberal, en Akiquana.
What Chaka was able to tell us about the plants, about the different animals and seeds was amazing. You learn to respect nature from a different angle, understanding the power. One of the trees most calling our attention was the caoutchouc or rubber tree. This tree created 200-300 years ago a fortune for some of the people in this part of the world. Millions of dollars were done, and at that time one of the biggest operas in the world was built in the heart of the Amazonas. Akiquana means place of the big trees, and walking through the forest we understood where this name is coming from. Chaka told us that some of the trees are hundreds of years old, and if you would cut them down, you could make a fortune out of it. Chaka, or Wilberto Ribeiro Tinto, is co-founder of the Pisataua Retreat Center, anthropologist, politician, and ecologist. Today, finally, is our first ceremony. Actually, the ceremony will be in the night. The ayahuasca ceremonies are always at night. This has several reasons, but in my opinion, the most important is that you get less distracted by the outside world, and by that it's much easier to connect to your internal spiritual realities. Passing the ceremonies, it's very difficult to know how much time exactly you were traveling, because time becomes very relative. Doing ceremonies, it's very important that you have experienced ayahuasqueros. Ayahuasqueros are the spiritual guides leading the ceremonies. Karina at the same time is preparing the medicine. Karina is one of the two ayahuasqueros. She and her husband Boris are guiding the spiritual retreat. After sunset, we will get together in the Maluka. We will meditate and connect to the Holy Spirit of the Ayahuasca. A very important aspect of the Ayahuasca ceremonies is music. During the ceremonies, there are very strict diets. It's important not to eat meat, no milk product, no fish, and only vegetables and fruits. An empty stomach is very important for ayahuasca ceremonies because of the physical reaction many people have during the ceremonies. Those ceremonies are not always very easy for everybody, especially because the physical reactions, but at the end of the day, they're part of the cleansing. Meanwhile, ayahuasca is taking care of the spiritual body, and the spiritual cleansing food is taking care of the physical body. A new morning, and we are on our way to visit Don Marcial. Don Marcial we are going to visit is more than 8 years old, and almost all his life long he did ayahuasca ceremonies. We are visiting him because he has an ayahuasca garden. He's planting his own chacruna plants and ayahuasca lianes, and we are going to visit them to see where he gets his plants for his medicine from. Back at Don Marcial's house, he sits down with me. He tells me about his experiences. He tells me about his magical powers and even his clairvoyancy abilities. The plant helped him to connect to the spirits of the nature. It helped him to develop his psychic abilities, and he became a powerful healer in that area. Today, he's retired. Sometimes he still does ceremonies, but most of it he's sharing his knowledge with the younger generations. Today is sightseeing. On boats, we are visiting the Aquiquana Lagoon. Until now, we saw the lagoon only from the shore, so we were all very excited to do this adventure. The locals told us to be very careful. There are many different animals inside the water which are dangerous to us. Anacondas or piranhas are only 2 of them. So, all of us, of course, we hoped the boats will not sink. Our program during the day is always very interesting and very diverse. Besides visiting the jungle and talking to shamans, some of us are practicing traditional Chinese medicine, offering cupping techniques to heal the physical body of those who wish so. Others practice meditation, yoga, and Tai Chi. Eric and Sasha are a beautiful couple and owners of the Pisataua Ayahuasca Retreat Center. We asked them about how they ended up on this beautiful place, what their vision is, and what they're giving people who participate in their retreats.
Welcome to Pisatahua. Bienvenidos a Pisatahua. My name is Eric. This is my wife Sasha. We're two of the founders here. This is Pino, our dog. Yeah, we're glad to be able to have this conversation with you and let you know a little about the center and our vision, the reason that we started the center. It first began, I think, about 8 years ago when we were together and we first tried ayahuasca, and it had a profound effect on us, and I think it was about a week later that we got engaged. It definitely, I think, brought us together and showed us a path, and since then we've been attempting to walk that path. It hasn't always been easy, but I've never doubted the fact that we're walking where we need to go in the right direction. And so
also, it's very strange because we started with this path, but it wasn't very clear at the beginning until we have this trip that was very hard on us because we just moved from Bolivia to the US, and then we had this trip, and this trip showed us that we should stop what we were doing and we need to come back to Bolivia, to the jungle, to do what we are doing now. It sounds crazy for all our family, for everybody of our friends, because we were just living there like I think for 2 months, and we decided to be in the States for a long time, like minimum 10 years, and then after 2 months we just got this trip, and then at the beginning we thought it was a bad trip, but then we said no, there's something to learn in this trip.
So I think the first thing that we provide people is the opportunity to be here in the nature, in the jungle, in the Aquiquana Reserve. And I think a lot of times, not for everyone, but a lot of people, they come here from the city, they come very disconnected from nature. And nature is really the first medicine. And that's really, I think, invaluable. And the location that we have, the ability to get disconnected from the cell phones, from the TV, from the Twitter accounts, whatever it might be, and be able to focus their energies here with nature, and that really helps speed up and amplify the healing process. I think so. That's the first medicine. Then beyond that, we don't forget the food is another medicine. As well, people are sometimes they have abusive relationship to food, and so they can come here and have clean eating opportunities. There's different diets that we provide. Some are very strict diets, depending on what the healer sees is necessary, depending on the retreat. But generally speaking, we try and provide food that's healthy, that's clean and healthy. It's a vegan menu. And just that time period, over a period of 10 days, eating healthy, clean food can also really, really help people in their healing process. Obviously then, most people, the main medicine that people are interested in learning and working with is ayahuasca. Here they call it Sino. And that's, for without a doubt, one of the main medicines here in the Amazon. People are aware of it. There's a lot of centers that focus now on working with ayahuasca. But we also work with other plant medicines as well. When someone arrives here, the first thing they'll do is they'll have a meeting with the healer. And the healer, they'll have a discussion, and together they'll come to an agreement on what's the best medicine for them, what's the best plants that they should diet with. And it all depends on what their needs are. Some people have more needs. They might have an addiction, or they might be suffering from depression for 15, 20 years, post-traumatic stress disorder, or people that are already relatively happy, but there's also the betterment of already good people, and that's the opportunity as well that people can come here and experiment with. And then, so I'd say then there's also the opportunity, as I mentioned with nature, is to get to know the reserve and explore the reserve, go on boat rides, go on guided hikes, learn about traditional medicine, learn alongside the healers. And then within the communal setting as well, the opportunity to know that they're leaving something behind. By being here, they're supporting the reserve, the work that we're doing here, the work that we do with the community, with the nonprofit. And I think that really creates an intention. All guests come typically with an intention, but then our center as well has an intention, and it really revolves around the land and us trying to protect this beautiful area of land that we have in the Bolivian Amazon. What people bring back with them when they go home from an experience like this, for each individual it's unique, just like the intentions for them arriving here. Integration is tricky. These experiences can be very profound and can be very transformative, but they can also sometimes be difficult to make sense in the world when you go back. And there are certain techniques that we implement here in the center. One of those is simply the group sharing. So following each retreat, all the participants come together and they discuss their experience. And I think that has a unifying effect and really solidifies the experience. And when you have to verbalize and vocalize the experience as well, it starts to make more sense. We ask people as well to journal the experience, because oftentimes in the moment it might not really be that clear, but over a period of time and weeks later they can revisit the experience, and then it starts becoming more and more solidified in terms of what this meant. And you know, we run small group retreats, and so typically a maximum of 10 participants. And I think for that reason too, we're able to really unify the group. We're heavily involved with alongside the healers, the facilitators, the volunteers, and then the participants. And so, you know, it's something that we continue to stay in contact with the people. And we're, like I meant, so that can be 6 months from now, 2 weeks from now, whatever it might be, but it's still a community that we create. That community, we try and provide certain things like different groups that we create, media groups, so that people continue to stay in contact. And so far we have people, you know, that continue to share their experiences, update us on how they're doing. And that's something that we, you know, continue to build that relationship and to understand that they're a part of the center. They're really build it. And so, like I mentioned, each person takes something else away, but they also leave something behind. And you know, we're here to continually support them throughout that process. So it's now, and it might be a year from now or years from now.
We asked Eric to explain us a little bit more about the medicine plants they're growing on his retreat center.
Yeah, well, here at Pisatahua, we locally source our own plant medicines, including our own ayahuasca. And one of the things that's also very important to what we do is the sustainability of the plants themselves. So we've started a project to reforest ayahuasca. We're very fortunate that in this area there's a lot of vine. We don't have, this is one of the centers, I think, for the production of ayahuasca. Here you can see an example of how we plant it. So we just simply take a small cutting. You can find the node, it needs to be about this big, and then you can see the plant growing right here. So this is basically ready to transplant, to be put in the ground now. This here in this area, the Bolivian Amazon, it's not called ayahuasca. This is called ciño, which I believe in Peru they might call ayahuasca cielo. In addition to the ayahuasca, we have here our chacruna, which here it's called samiruca. And once again, we plant our own. We're reforesting here with samiruca. We have I don't know how many plants like this we have, but we've been planting it throughout so that we never have any lack of resources for ourselves. The medicine is prepared by healers that are on site, that live inside the reserve, and we help provide the material for them, making sure that it's sustainably sourced and that we have plenty for many years to come.
Sasha is not only an amazing mother to their child, but also takes care of the plantation on the retreat center. She and the volunteers are planting different fruits and vegetables they are later using in the kitchen for the participants of the retreats.
So we just started with one of our projects. We're making a garden in this area, and we're gonna make, here is gonna be the veg garden. So we're gonna start putting a lot of vegetables, and inside, a little bit more inside, we're gonna have a fruit garden. Pisatahua thinks that it's very important to heal, and the first medicine to heal actually is the food. So for us it's really important to have our own organic food in Pisatahua. So we started this project just like 2 weeks ago with a friend that he's a permaculturist, and we are having 2 volunteers that they bring a lot of seeds from many different places in the world. All the seeds are organic. So we started planting it.
Everything has its end, and so does our beautiful retreat. The last day arrived and we're getting ready to leave. Not only did we find beautiful friends, but somehow we became a family.
Hello everybody, my name is Ayla. I'm gonna tell you my experience of the ayahuasca retreat we had a few weeks ago in January 19. It has been a beautiful, fulfilling experience on all levels. I myself work as an acupuncturist there, as alternative medicine or healing methods are very common to me. Though this has been my first ayahuasca experience, jungle experience ever. We did the retreat at Pisatagua in Bolivia. It was a great place to do this retreat. So we were 10 days without electricity, without any communication. So it was very special, and I think very not common to do nowadays. It really supported also the healing experience, the inner healing experience we were doing. So what could I say, like comparing to other alternative or complementary medicines, ayahuasca actually permits you to go much deeper. It also permits you to show yourself what is wrong and to heal yourself what is wrong. You don't need anybody to do the work for you or to help you. It's the ayahuasca self, and they say ayahuasca also gives you like the power to show what's wrong in you or what you can do better. So it always shows you to give the best version of yourself. And that is what I have been experienced throughout the ceremonies, throughout the whole retreat. Also the group was very important, a beautiful group. We made many friendships and deep friendships after this retreat. And I still have the feeling that ayahuasca still is working. And we're now nearly a month from our retreat, and it shows you just every day how you can be the better version of yourself, how you can go even deeper in yourself, be even more connected, and yes, it never ends. So I highly recommend this experience, but only if you actually are called to it, because if you're not feel like the calling to do it, it's because you're not ready. And in my case it was, so I'm happy to share my experience.
Well, for me the ayahuasca retreat, it's been such a wonderful, deep and intense experience. Even though I came back to my city, I think it's been more than a week now, and I still can feel that I'm working on it. It's just every day during those 10-day retreat, every time, even when you're not under the medicine effect, you feel so connected to your inner self, and you connect in a way that is showing you whatever you need to change or to do, or whatever aspects of your life are being an obstacle to achieve whatever goals you have in your life, to be happy, to be successful, to be a better person. And that feeling is very strong, and it can be tough, and it's so clarifying when you connect with that. So yeah, about the physical experience, it's very challenging, and at the same time you could say it's very pleasant, because you can really feel that you are cleaning and healing your body, but not only in a physical level, but in your mind, in an emotional, and also in a spiritual level. So yes, for me it's been like my life has like an after and a before, and I'm feeling different about the way I feel with my family, with my friends, with every relationship, human relationship I have. I can sit and look at where I live and simply look at it in a different position or in a different level. So yes, I've been loving this since I came back.
It's time to say goodbye. I'm so thankful for everything I was able to learn in this beautiful place. Ayahuasca teach me a lot, and I'm leaving this place as a different person I have been when I came here. Life is a mystery, and if you open your soul, your heart and your mind, you're learning a lot about yourself. Ayahuasca gave me new perspectives about who I am and what I'm doing here. It helped me to see life from a higher vision. And I'm going back to the modern life, to society now, with a lot of new insights. Insights about myself, which are helping me to become even better connected to myself, but also to my fellow human beings. I will always remember the Amazonas with a smiling and a sad eye. I remember these beautiful moments with the group, teaching me so much. All of us, we have been guided from Mother Ayahuasca to get in touch with the deepest aspects of our souls. Now going back, it will be a challenge. A challenge because we have to integrate in our daily life what we learned here. And exactly this is what the true magic about Ayahuasca is. It doesn't only exist in the jungle. The real magic is bringing it back to daily life, sharing it with friends and family, bringing a new reflection to life.